everyone. Excited to be here. Excited to have you here. Hopefully today we can share some very useful insights for you guys. So stay tuned and we'll get started in a second or two.
No, I also feel pressure to leave a word to the audience. So I'm also very excited. I think for those that attended yesterday's call, this is going to be a very interesting one. But even for those that didn't attend yesterday's call, you probably will be able to make sense of the tips that we're going to provide you with, because they are very easy to understand. They are very concise, very straightforward. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to implement them back into your job search.
Okay, I think we already have almost 20 people live, so we really respect your time and we want to provide a lot of knowledge. If you don't know us, we are part of Hiire. We are a recruitment company, and we are also very focused on career advisory. So this is our career advisory team, me, Guilherme, and Duarte. We did a session yesterday that you can watch as well. If you didn't saw it, if you saw it, drop also in the comments to see who is in the second live with us. Today, we will tell you how you can get the job that you deserve or that you want in 2024. So what you can expect of this session. So yesterday, we basically share with you how was the market from 2020 to 2023, the difference between the years, what was the challenge that we face. You all guys already know that we had COVID, so a lot of things changed in the market, and we also had a big layoff season. And now in 2024, the things will change a little bit because the companies will be more precise on hiring. And for you to get the job that you want, you also need to be more precise in your job search. That's why today we will speak about the career challenge that you will face and how you can solve them in 2024. Tomorrow, at the same time, we will show you our career advisory program and also to clarify all the doubts that you might have. So feel free also to join tomorrow, same time, same people, same platform. And I hope that you enjoyed the session today. Feel free to interact in the chat as well. So if you have any questions that can help us to guide you better, we'll try to answer live. If you have more specific questions, also drop them in the chat because we can answer them tomorrow. So without further ado, let's kick off this and talk about the importance of upskilling and reskilling.
Thanks for the intro, Gonçalo. Definitely. Just wanted to start by reskilling and upskilling because it carries so much weight in today's tech and job world. If we think about upskilling and reskilling in its essence, it's building off your current skills and business acumen to be a more complete professional, right? So this is something that you should be thinking about all the time, as we are in a landscape that's constantly evolving with new tools, new processes, new technologies that are being introduced every day that you need to adapt to stay relevant in the market. So the importance of upskilling and reskilling comes from that fact that people need to stay relevant in the market for companies to look after that type of talent, right? So it's really, really important to ensure that you're considering upskilling and reskilling in every market, but moreover in a market marked by the conditions that we laid out yesterday during our live session. So as you all know, the world has been facing huge advancements, especially in the area of AI, and it's very, very important, of the utmost important, that everyone is considering this in their career roadmap. So a career roadmap is something that you build out to reach the final destination of your career, to achieve your dream job, and to do so, you have to consider upskilling and reskilling in that plan. So that's that will keep you relevant. So nowadays, let me give you an example. Let's use AI. So nowadays, learning things like prompt engineering can really set you apart from the pack and really make you a top contender for any role because you'll be bringing your business acumen, so all the experiences and all the learnings you had on your career up until that point, and leverage the AI to make you way more productive in your work. So these are the factors that can really boost your chances of getting the job you want. So it's really important to have a structured career roadmap in which this is included to be able to really achieve those dream jobs that we all want to achieve, right? So a career roadmap that includes upskilling and reskilling will be what will set you apart from becoming an obsolete contender for any role to becoming a top contender that's current with the job market and is navigating through it instead of just being taken with the flow of the job market. This is not a one-time event. Upskilling and reskilling happens over time, and you need to always stay in touch with the most relevant updates in your space, in your industry, and make sure that you're contemplating that in your career roadmap. What you add to your career map in January might be different than what you'll add in June, because nowadays the landscape moves so fast that you have to adapt quickly to have the results you want. So that's a really, really important factor for all of you. I would like to mention another factor that ties very well into this one, that tech fluency nowadays is a non-negotiable asset for any position. So we are moving away from the traditional role where, let's say, that accountants only work with pen and paper, and nowadays everything is digitalized, and we are moving towards a tech era, or we are already in a tech era, and that becomes way more relevant in nowadays positions. Because people need to have tech fluency. Everyone needs to know how to work with the most basic tools and a laptop to be able to be successful in their roles. So back to the previous slide, but a bit also related to this, it's important to have these things considered in your career plan and make sure that this is an ongoing effort to stay relevant in the job market. Then there are three things that we've been seeing picking up in its importance in the job market, which have been AI as a whole, but not just AI, large language models. I'm sure everyone knows ChatGPT, BERT, and a couple of others that are out there. But also generative AI as a whole has become very proponent in the industry. And I can also give the example of low-code platforms. The interesting thing here is that a lot of people that are utilizing these technologies don't have technological backgrounds, or it didn't even think about working in tech when they started to work, but they adjusted to the market. They built these skill sets and use these technologies to stay the most relevant candidates in any recruitment pipeline. So that's what I advise to everyone. Make sure to look into AI and the possibilities of automation, leveraging your current know-how, your business acumen, combined with the automation and the potential that LLMs have, will make you a much more well-rounded employee, much more relevant for any recruiter, and that will also provide the impression that you're staying very up to date with the recent trends in the job market, and you're adjusting and you're being smart in the way that you're positioning yourself. Nowadays, we've seen that the market has been very much a tech-driven market, where people are more and more paying attention to these things and are trying to upskill themselves to be able to stay relevant. One example that I would like to bring where we see these things happening, and where I saw this happening, was in marketing roles, for example. Marketing was very much related to awareness, brand, and whatnot. And nowadays, marketing is almost a tech role. You have to understand ads, you have to code in HTML, CSS, Python, or JavaScript most of the times to stay a relevant candidate. And this was a change that happened in a period of 5-10 years, and it's an essential skill nowadays, when 10 years ago it wasn't relevant at all. So being in the top of the curve or being ahead of the curve is very important, because the work you're doing now can be very important. Maybe not even by the end of this year, but in 2-3 years can make you a top contender for any role. And as I said in the slides before, this is an ongoing work, and it's never done just once. It's a way of thinking and a mindset that you cultivate to grow yourself and to stay relevant in the market. Other things that I would like to talk about is cross-functional competences and cross-functional skills, and its importance in today's job market. So, as I mentioned, a lot of times having a career roadmap is really important. And just piggybacking a bit out of this marketing example, let's think about it. Previously, marketing teams would have to liaise with developer teams or tech teams in order to get their HTML, CSS code done. Nowadays, these cross-functional competences have been amalgamated, and the marketing guys already have to have these skills to be successful in their role, which on one hand facilitates the collaboration with the tech teams, and on the other hand also facilitates the tech teams understanding a bit more the role that marketing plays within the organization. So building these cross-functional competences will allow for much more fluid collaboration between teams, will make you a much more versatile worker and much more relevant in the job market. It also is very connected with the previous slides in the sense that this demands a constant upskill and reskilling effort on your end as a candidate to make sure that you're adjusting your skills and your and your knowledge of that skills to stay relevant. So if there's a new trend in the market, you need to adjust, integrate that in your current career roadmap to ensure that you're staying relevant. Building these cross-functional skills can be very important to make sure that you're staying ahead of the curve, that you're showing that you know how to collaborate, that you're putting in the effort to learn these new skills. So I would say that this is very important in your career search. So Duarte will now bring us to the second topic, which is the power of connection, but I'll let Duarte expand a bit on this topic.
Thank you, Guilherme. Great insights on the importance of upskilling and reskilling. As you see, the skill requirements will change a lot in 2024 with the new job market. And I think that what we're going to discuss now with the power of connection closely ties with what Guilherme just told you about. And it also ties with the call we had yesterday. So yesterday we were explaining you that the job market is constantly evolving, is always shifting, and there's always emerging trends. And with these trends, it comes unique challenges and unique opportunities. So where does the power of connection comes in? When we talk about power of connection, we're actually talking about networking. So connecting with individuals in a professional setting, within a specific industry or a specific niche. And usually the reason why we connect with these individuals is to share advice, to share resources, to share information. And Guilherme just pointed out and just stressed the idea that it's very important to stay relevant in the job market of 2024 because things move so fast. There's a lot of new changes, a lot of new technologies, job profiles are changing, and you need to stay ahead of the curve. You need to stay relevant. And connecting with individuals that are well positioned within a certain industry or a specific niche will allow you to do just that. It will allow you to stay ahead of the curve. You'll be able to be aware of the most recent trends in that specific niche or that specific industry. You will be on top of the latest advancements. You will know what your colleagues are doing in their own jobs, in their own companies, to adapt and adjust to those changes, and how you can make the most out of it. So the first thing about connecting with other professionals, it's being able to be in tune with your industry. And this also ties back to what Guilherme said regarding the career roadmap. So when you have a career roadmap, it's basically outlining where you want to go, what is the type of job and the type of skills that you will need. And if you are in tune with your industry, you have a lot more information to use when you're building your career roadmap. If you are aware of the advancements and you are aware of the changes, you will also reflect those changes back in your career roadmap, which will also influence your upskilling, your reskilling, and your continuous learning and development. So it really, connecting with people in your industry ties back to upskilling, ties back to reskilling, and ties back to your overall ability to navigate the job market. So that's point number one. Point number two, which is the one that most people are aware of, is that connecting with people and networking opens a lot of doors. It creates a lot of opportunities. Some opportunities are even hidden. They are invisible. Gonçalo knows this. Guilherme knows this. Oftentimes, companies have openings, positions that they never reach a job listing. They never reach LinkedIn. Maybe they're trying to fill it with internal candidates. Maybe they are trying to fill it with referrals. And connecting with the right people will allow you to unlock the power of referrals, will allow you to unlock the power of personal recommendations. And this will not only gain you access to those opportunities, but it will also position you in a very good spot. Because when you have someone referring you to a position, you already have one first layer of validation. So it makes the hiring decision easier. So this, in one way, you could look it as a bias, but what's really happening is someone that is already a fit with that specific company and someone that knows the company from the inside is telling you that that candidate is a great fit for that position. So what I want you to understand from the power of connections is, in sum, these 2 points. It allows you to stay ahead of the curve and you know exactly the latest advancements and the latest job trends in the market. And you can use that information to your advantage. And then you can also gain access to opportunities that otherwise you wouldn't have. So this is power of connection, the power of networking. Now, moving to the next slide, we're going to discuss how we can be effective when networking. Because when we think about networking, it seems fairly intuitive, but there's also ways it could go wrong. So there's better ways of networking than others. And one misconception that Gonçalo, Guilherme, and I wanted to challenge is the idea of quality over quantity. Usually, when we look at someone that we think is very successful in networking, we assume that happens because they have a lot of connections. But usually, if they are successful in networking, they don't have a lot of connections, but they have really good connections. So they might not have thousands of connections, but maybe they have 5 or 10 connections that are very good. So the way we want to challenge this misconception is by laying out the idea that having 10 good connections might be better than having 10,000 connections that are not really deep or they are not really meaningful. So myself on LinkedIn, I have over 10,000 connections. Although if I was to think about the value I've gained from my network, I could probably bring it down to 10 or 15 people. So out of 10,000 connections, most of the value that I got out of my network from value, insights, resources came from 10 to 15 people. So it's really about the quality and not the quantity of connections. So when you're trying to network, you don't need to send cold approaches to 1,000 people a day. You just need to find that one people and pinpoint the people that is well positioned within your industry or within your niche and create a really meaningful relationship, a genuine relationship. Try to get to know that people, show interest, show enthusiasm into understanding their career so far, their skill set. So that's very important. And career roadmap targeting, point number 4. This also ties back to what Guilherme was saying, because if you have a good career roadmap, you will be able to pinpoint the people in your industry that will add the most value to you, because you'll know where you want to go, what are the milestones, what are the goals. So it's easier for you to understand, okay, what skills am I missing and who has those types of skills? Who can teach me what I'm missing? So that's why career roadmap is very important, and that's where networking comes in. And another point which is very important with networking is mutually beneficial connections. So sometimes you might have people approaching you on LinkedIn and they approach you with a necessity right away. So this doesn't really feel like a mutual beneficially connection. It's important that you approach people and you offer advice, you offer knowledge, you share something to get something back. So it's important that networking is seen more as a long-term relationship with a lot of reciprocity rather than just asking someone for guidance or asking someone for support. It has to have some degree of exchange. Okay. So what I want you to get out of this slide is that quantity doesn't matter. It's more on the quality. So focus on creating meaningful connections where you can also add some value back to that individual, but tie networking back to your career roadmap. See where you want to go and what type of people will be important for you to achieve your goals. Everyone that has been successful so far, they had a mentor, they had a leadership, or they had someone in their way that played a pivotal role for them to be there. So you need to find that person. Okay. So moving to the next slide. Next slide will be very brief. It's just a way of summarizing. So whenever you're trying to network, it's important that you focus on networking principles. Okay. So thinking about how you can maintain genuine relationships, how you can maintain deep connections, quality over quantity, reciprocal exchange, making sure the other person also gets something out of that interaction, and proactive assistance, which is when you first approach that person, try to be proactive in assisting that person. Don't reach out asking for help. Otherwise, the connection might not become as meaningful as if you're really trying to get to know that person and establish a meaningful connection. On the personal brand, I won't touch too much on that point because Gonçalo, the man himself, will cover that topic. So moving on, we're going just to make a small distinction between online and offline engagement. It's very often that when we think about networking, we immediately think about LinkedIn. I know I do. When I think about networking, I think about LinkedIn. But the reality is there's a lot more to networking than just online engagement. Of course, on online engagement, LinkedIn is a great tool. But our approach at Hiire, we believe that it should be a hybrid arrangement. You should combine and you should take advantage of the synergies of an online and offline engagement. And when we think about offline engagement, it also ties back to the idea of having genuine connections. There's no more genuine connection than meeting someone in person and being able to be around them. So attending industry events, attending community groups, attending workshops, attending job fairs or employability events, all these types of scenarios are very relevant for you to build a strong network, and they are usually industry specific. So if you involve yourself in networking events that both promote your online and offline presence, both of them will have synergies that play to your overall presence. So you should really try to make the most out of both. So both online and offline engagement. So moving forward, I think Gonçalo is taking on this one. So I'm passing the ball.
Thank you, Duarte. Was awesome, Guilherme, as well. And in a nutshell, we spoke about upgrading your skills or uplifting your skills, and then we talk about networking. And I have bad and good news for all of you. All of you already have a personal brand, and it's very tied to the skills that you have and the people that you know. And this might not be something very logic, but that is it, because I bet that all of you to be here on this LinkedIn Live, you have a LinkedIn profile, so you have a social media presence already. It can be good or it can be bad, but you have one. So if you want to improve, to change your positioning, to get better opportunities, to get more money, to get more freedom, to get the life that you want, you need to leverage your skills, you need to leverage your network, and to do all of that, you really need to leverage your personal brand, because the personal brand is tying all of this together. And me, Guilherme, Duarte, we work a lot on our personal brand because we know how relevant this is for our careers. When someone asks me, I need help to hire someone in Web3, I always think about Guilherme because he works at Kraken. So that is my on the top of my mind, because I know that Guilherme likes crypto. I know that Guilherme works at Kraken. He speaks about crypto with his friends. So I know that he's my guy for Web3 projects. And when I think about improving a CV, I don't think about how I will do it. I will ask Duarte, because Duarte is top on doing reviewing CVs and making sure they are passing ATSs, making sure they are a good CV to employers. So it's this type of things that you start to be recognized from. And I'm building a team here at Hiire that really has these talents, and we also want to share this with all of you. And this presentation was built exactly for that. I know that a lot of things that we spoke today was very generic, because each case is a case, and we cannot give you a specific solution for your case without understanding your background, your education, your professional experience. But we can give you these little points, like the upskilling, the upgrade your skills, the networking tips on focus your network and focus on your personal brand, because you can get this, and alone you can do a lot already with this material. And with the content that we create on LinkedIn, you can get even more. So your best advocate, it's yourself. Nobody will do this job for you. And as Duarte mentioned before, doing networking is very important, and you have LinkedIn as a platform, but on face-to-face events, you also can get a lot of knowledge and a lot of connections, and probably better connections. So just to give you a personal example, I was the second person to start at Mercedes-Benz I.O., because a colleague of mine of my previous job was contacted for that opportunity, and she didn't wanted to move at the time, but she remembered me as a good recruiter, and she did a referral for me to go to Mercedes. So probably if I didn't have a good connection with her, I would never went to Mercedes, and my career will be completely different. And that vacancy at Mercedes was never online. So it was just networking and people, because they were looking for a very specific person, someone that was good at recruitment and that also understood the tech market in Portugal. And I was very lucky to be that person and to be in contact with the right people. So this is the power of leveraging your personal brand, your connections. And as I told you, you already have a personal brand. You just need to take care of it and leverage it in order to get better results. We also talked a lot about the career roadmap. That is something that you should create to envision your career in the future. So if you know where you want to be in 3 years, in 5 years from now, it's much easier to start to do the actions before and really build the skills that you need, really get in touch with the people that you'd like to meet in order to get the goals that you want to achieve. But if you don't know where you want to be in at least 2 or 3 years from now, it's much harder to give the next step, because you can do any step that won't matter at all because you don't know where you are going. That's why in our programs and with our clients, we always sit first and talk really well about what is the goals, where do you want to be, not only professional, but also personally. Because if you want to have a house, if you want to have kids, if you want to travel the world, your goals and the ways that you'll do to achieve those goals will be different. So it's very important to think in your life as a whole, not only your professional life, but everything around you, to make sure that you have the right steps in. And that's very personalized. So that's not something that you'll get from this live. That's not something that you'll get from the previous live that we did yesterday. But it's a start for you to start thinking about these things, start to change stuff in your career, start to upgrade your skills. And it's a step-by-step job. This is not easy. Finding a job right now, it's very hard. Even today, I was speaking with a potential client, and she told me that she applied for more than 300 jobs in less than 1 year. And this is a lot of applications. And she reached out to 5 final stages, and she didn't got any offer. And she was a very qualified person. So you have a lot of competition outside. So even if you know what you want, even if you have the skills, even if you have some network, you might not be able to achieve the results that you want, because maybe you need slightly better skills, maybe you need to know the right person, maybe you are in the wrong country and your skills are more valuable on another country or another industry. So that's why thinking about your career, think about what you want to achieve, and then get help to really leverage your know-how, because nowadays nobody know everything. So even me, to start Hiire and to build a team around me, I don't have all the power, I don't have all the time, I don't have all the knowledge, and I need to be connected with the best people in certain areas to leverage my knowledge. Because Duarte is much better than me, as I told you, doing CVs and reviewing LinkedIn's. Guilherme is much better than me when we are talking about Web3. I'm very good on preparing people to interview. So altogether, we can really offer you an amazing experience on how to land a new job. By ourselves, we could do a good experience, but not such a good one as we want to offer everyone in the future. So this was our live for today. We are right on time. Tomorrow at the same time we'll be here again. I hope to see all of you here again tomorrow as well. If you didn't saw all the live so far, you can review it tomorrow or next week. The live will be also on our YouTube in a couple of days, and you can as well see the live sessions on LinkedIn, but we'll have them on our YouTube channel, edits with some comments as well. And if you were signed on this LinkedIn and if you left your email with us, you also will receive the presentations that we did yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So as I told you, tomorrow at the same time, we will speak and answer all your questions. I'm sorry for the people that put questions today. We don't have the time to tackle them, but we'll tackle them first thing tomorrow. So feel free to show up and to bring more questions as well. We are here really to help you and to give you the tips that you need to find the job that you want. I'm not sure if Duarte and Guilherme wants to add something.
Yeah, I will just add that you are free to send us a message on LinkedIn as well. there's anything that raised your curiosity during this call or yesterday's call, or even if it's off topic, even if it's not directly related to what we discussed in this call, but is somewhat related with career or recruitment, just feel free to send us a message. Try to apply the principles that you learned today regarding networking. But yeah, just feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I would reinforce that idea. Feel free to speak with any of us. Feel free to connect. We definitely have some valuable insights, and we are always posting and providing some important tips and tricks for your career. So feel free to use and abuse of that. And yeah, I think Gonçalo wants to wrap it up. Thank you for your presence here. It was really good to have you all here. Thank you.
Yeah, 2 more quick points. So Diego, thanks a lot for your question. We'll answer that question tomorrow first thing, as I shared before. And as Guilherme remind me, we'll have a special offer for you guys tomorrow who stick it until the end of the live. So feel free to show up because we'll have something very special to show you. And I hope to see you tomorrow and that you have a good evening. Thanks a lot and bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.